Hey, Jeffrey.
Sportsman Z, Bob Zuhlke.
Yeah.
If you don't mind us waiting 3 minutes,
Yeah, that's fine.
so just stand by.
Okay.
Because, I don't want anyone coming at 2 p.m. and to learn that the thing started already. So we'll just wait. Well, greetings, everybody. It's Jeffrey Guterman with the Strat-O-Matic Network, and it is my utmost pleasure, and I'm actually kind of nervous about it, to interview Sportsman Z, Bob Zuhlke. Welcome.
Thank you, Jeffrey, and thanks for having me on.
It's my pleasure. We've gotten a lot of feedback about this, and I'm sure many people are going to watch this broadcast. First, I want to give you a menu option for the interview. Would you like it basic? Would you like it advanced? Or would you like it super advanced? And before I go into that, and you probably wonder where I got that from,
Yeah.
I recommend super advanced, meaning probing on many topics, learning about a lot of things about you. But of course, you're always free to decline to answer a question and take the fifth. So would you like? I recommend super advanced, but do you have a choice: basic, advanced, or super advanced?
Super advanced is fine with me.
Super advanced is fine with Bob Zuhlke.
Yeah.
Bob, first question: Sportsman Z. How did you come up with that name?
Well, I wanted to do an array of different things related to sports for my channel. I used to do football picks for the NFL. I used to do. I used to recap White Sox. The week in White Sox games during the season. And from time to time, I'll do a video about something that's happening in the sports world. So I wanted it to be, kind of an all-encompassing sports-related channel.
But why the letter Z? Because of Zelke?
Yes.
You see how slow I am? Really, I just realized that now.
Yeah.
I just realized that now. Um, the first thing I want to talk about is I saw a video uh, on your, and I watch you often. I love watching
Thank you. I appreciate.
your games, and I saw a video that told me about your diagnosis of cancer.
Yes.
And would you be comfortable talking about that for a little bit?
Yeah. Sure. Um, yeah, I was diagnosed back in July with stage 4 rectal cancer. So I have a mass in my rectum, and I have some really small nodules in my lungs. But it has so far it's been managed very well. The rectal mass has shrunk, and the nodules in the lungs haven't multiplied or gotten bigger. So, and I feel relatively good. I mean, I have some minor side effects like constant congestion. It seems, but I mean, basically, I feel pretty good, and it looks like everything is going in the right direction. So,
And when you say stage four, what does that mean?
well, stage 4 means that it advanced past where it originated. I think it originated in my rectum, and there are some cancer nodules in my lungs. So, it advanced past that, past the stage of just being in the rectum, and I think that's what it means to be stage 4.
And it went to the lungs.
Yeah.
Uh, and um, have they given you a prognosis, a, a planned or expected course that this will take?
Right now, I have chemotherapy once every other week, and for the time being, that's the plan. They don't know when it's going to end, if it's going to end. That probably depends on there being no trace of cancer at all, which right now, it still shows up. So
Yeah,
for the time being, it's just going to be chemotherapy once every other week.
once every other week. And just quickly, what when you go for the chemotherapy, what is the treatment exactly? Is it an injection? Is it what is it?
It's I have a port in my chest where they insert a needle and they run the chemotherapy. The chemicals. I don't know what exactly they are, but those run constantly.
Yeah.
They change out the different bags for the different chemicals, and it takes about 4 hours sitting there and having that constantly running.
I don't know what kind of time frame you have. I'm almost done with this part, but I usually go an hour,
Mhm.
sometimes sometimes an hour and a half. Would that work for you today?
Um, Probably an hour. I think will probably be my max.
Okay. Okay. Very good. Well, the last question about that is how are you dealing with it existentially? Um, that I have a fear of dying. I'm 66 years old. I have high blood pressure. I have high cholesterol. I fear getting a heart attack. I fear getting a massive stroke, and I also fear getting cancer. How you seem to be ostensibly relatively calm and stoic about it.
Yeah, I'm good with it. I've accepted it, and I'm just gonna follow the doctor's treatments and hope for the best. Hope for whatever number of years I can still have, um, and we'll just take it from there. But I do have a positive and overall positive outlook about it.
Okay. Well, I thank you for sharing all that. It's not easy, for some people, it may not be easy to talk about. And it wasn't easy for me to even raise the question, but I thought it would be sort of an elephant in the broadcast,
Yeah.
if you will. And I
Yeah.
thought I would go getting it. Um, Can you tell us, and I see we only have an hour, and I'm going to leave about a good 10 minutes for people to answer questions
Mm.
at the end. Your background, how old are you?
I am 58.
Where were you born?
I was born in Syracuse, New York.
Where do you live now?
Right now, I live in Gaithersburg, Maryland.
Is that is that near Washington?
Yeah, it's relatively close to Washington. Yeah.
What about your background, uh, just in general in life? I
Uh,
know that's a big question, but what's the oh, I don't know, paragraph that would describe growing up and up to today?
well, I grew up in mostly in Vestal, New York. My parents moved from Syracuse to Vestal when I was 5,
Mm,
and after I graduated high school, I served in the Navy for 4 years.
yeah.
Um, After the Navy, I went to college and I got a degree from Casanova College, which doesn't exist anymore. But
Oh,
I got my degree, bachelor's degree in fine art.
fine arts.
Yes, yes, I could. I'm pretty good at drawing and painting,
Mm,
and so I got my degree in art from there. And but then I went on to a professional career working as a contract specialist for the federal government. Uh, I was
oh,
work.
you broke up a little bit for the federal government.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I started out. I was working for the Department of the Navy as a contract specialist, and right now I work for the Department of Health and Human Services.
Okay. Okay. Anything else about your background? Married, children?
I am married with no children, uh,
Hmm.
and I have I have 2 brothers and a sister,
Yeah,
and several nieces and nephews.
that's nice. Finish this sentence. The first time I heard of Strat-O-Matic.
I was, I think, 11 years old, and really, my father had taken me to the mall to find a game to simulate baseball because I
Really?
I had made it my own crude version of it, and he felt like, let's go see if there's one game at the mall. And the one that I saw, the one that I happened to see was Strat-O-Matic. So we decided to buy Strat-O-Matic, and I've been playing it. I played it pretty solid through high school,
Mhm.
um, and then took a hiatus from it when I was in the Navy, and then played it off and on a little bit. I was in college, and I'm in some play by email leagues right now. Um, and I've been playing so pretty consistently. I've been playing it ever since I discovered it.
Outside of the Navy, outside of the time when you were in the Navy.
Hmm.
So you were age 11. That's figuring out. You said you're 56. You said.
Yeah,
So that was about 1981.
or 58. I'm 58.
Oh,
So
58. So
yeah,
that was about 1979.
yeah.
And I guess it might have been the 1980 set. Uh, you remember the retail store? Because, I don't think Stratomatic does a lot of retail.
No, they don't now. At the time, it was KB Toy and Hobby.
Right, right. And I bought a football game in about 81 in the store. Uh, And but I still don't think even during that period in the '80s, I think they were trying it out and they didn't really get much off the ground. Can you briefly tell me other gaming that you've done, other games besides Stratomatic?
Well, when I was young and I was doing Strat-O-Matic at the same time, I also played pro baseball and
Was that Status Pro?
yeah, Status Pro.
Yeah, yeah.
And yeah, I played that for a while. Kind of gotten away from it. I mean, I do it. I've done it a couple of times on the channel, and I've tried other games. I've tried Payoff Pitch. I played that some, um, and I've played Superstar Baseball recently that I saw on Kurt Berglund's channel, and and very recently, I just bought Appa Baseball to try it for the very first time because Appa's a little older than Stratomatic, and when I was a kid, they were the two big players in the market. But this is the first time I've actually gotten it and looked at it and played a couple of games of it.
I saw your video on that,
Yeah,
and I believe I was watching a video of you playing a game.
not of Appa, not yet.
Oh, not Apple. Okay, actually, then it was someone else. But I saw the video where you unboxed
Yeah.
Apple, and I was thinking the same. I've been told by um, baseball demos, David. History Maker Baseball is a great game. He says it's a lot different than Stratomatic, and I don't know. It looks a little complicated, and I think Appa might be more than my style. If I was interested in getting to Appa, is it appa.com?
Um, I guess it is. What I did is I just Googled Appa, and then I clicked on a link that appeared to take me to the website for the company.
Appa Games,
Yeah,
because it looks like a, I don't know. I know it only came with the 4 team set,
right.
and I'm not interested in that. I'm interested. I guess it's less expensive, right?
Yeah, I wanted to see if I liked it first before I bought a season. I have last season on order, and I expect it to arrive any day. And then I'll play some games with last year's set.
And did you get the basic game or the master edition?
The basic game. I mean the cards now are set up for both.
Yeah.
One that I play is the basic. I've heard that the advanced or whatever is a little bit more too complicated, and
Okay.
the basic game does play very well. It's very smooth. It's easy to learn. So from
Yeah.
that, it's good. I just think it's a little. There's aspects of it that are a little too general. They're
Mm.
more general than like Stratomatic.
I've heard that, and I've heard that. Is it true that the pitchers just get ratings?
Yeah, they just get a rating, and then what happens is based on the pitcher's rating, and a lot of those results. I don't want to say a lot of those results, but some of those results even overlap. Like if you roll a one, it's a home run on any pitcher, even an A pitcher.
Right. Right. That seems unusual to me. Uh, I, I'm trying to think of what the word is. It's sort of too general
Yeah.
because you don't get the unique aspects of pitchers.
Right. Right.
So you take a Nolan Ryan, he'll get whatever rating, and it might not be a good one because his win loss record, his CRA was sometimes not that good.
Right. And he
But
walks guys at times.
but he won't get the strikeouts.
He well, he can still get the strikeouts, but
Not the number we would
yeah,
expect.
maybe not the number that you would expect. I'm not sure. I've heard that it's an accurate game from people who have played it for years. So
Yeah.
um, I guess it all comes out in the wash, I suppose.
Well, I'm listening to you. I'm taking you seriously. What you're saying, but I don't know what you mean by it comes out in the wash. It may come out in the wash, but that wash might not be would not reflect the unique qualities and performances of pitchers.
Yeah, it's possible that it doesn't. But I can't say because I've never played a season and I haven't played very many games of it yet.
Well, if it's based on like 5 ratings, I don't know how many ratings.
Yeah, it's A through D. Yeah, for
A
pitchers.
through D, 4 ratings. I'm pretty darn sure it wouldn't. So the other games you played were Payoff Pitch, APBA, Status Pro, and I think there might have been another you mentioned,
Yeah, there was Superstar Baseball.
Superstar Baseball,
Yeah.
and you never played the spinning.
No, I never did the ones with the spinning wheel. No.
That goes back.
Yeah.
Um, so you're a Strat-O-Matic person.
Yeah. Mainly. Yeah.
Um, I noticed you've spoken a little bit about house rules,
Right.
and I think it's interesting house rules. And some of your videos I've watched, you're pretty assertive about your house rules if you're having someone over or whatever.
Right.
Uh, can you tell us what some of your house rules are?
Well, like well, one thing that I do is I tend to I don't really religiously follow the innings, the built-in innings pitched thing for the pitchers, the inning of weakness. I usually just play it by ear. I see how the game is going, and
Interesting.
I do factor in like reality. I'll stop a guy maybe after he pitches 7 innings, a starter. But I'll like pitch relievers 2 innings, even if they're really 1 inning relievers and they give up a couple of hits. So I don't really follow like what Strat-O-Matic says for the inning of weakness. I like to go because like I'm an old school guy. I was brought up in an era where pitchers pitched,
Yeah.
7 innings and threw, 130 pitches or 140 pitches in a game. So I don't like the way that it's gone today, where it's like pitchers are pulled after 5 or 6 innings, and the Stratomatic cards for the recent sets will reflect that. And so a guy can start to get into trouble in the 5th or 6th inning, and you might have to take him out if you strictly followed the Stratomatic guidelines for it. And I don't generally like to do that. Um, and there are like if I play basic, um, I'll incorporate the outfielder's arm, even though outfielder's arm doesn't. I don't think it comes into play in the basic version. It's only in the advanced. Um, but I'll factor it in. I'll look at what their arms are, and I'll um, factor that in for like base running situation.
And it just occurred to me as I'm listening to you that it there. I think there's value in you sharing your house rules and anybody else doing so, because I'm not sure there's anybody who plays the game, whether it be basic, advanced, or super advanced, exactly
Right.
to the T. There are always variations, and I
Yeah.
find these two to be very interesting. Are these two the one where you don't follow the endurance rule
Yeah.
and instead you play it by ear?
Right.
And then the second one is when playing basic, because I've seen you play advanced.
Yeah.
Maybe I don't know if it's super advanced also. You do a basic with the outfielder's arm.
Right. Right.
We have Rod's tabletop hoops, and I'm willing to open up to other questions because I still have a lot of questions. But to me, 1 hour is a relatively brief time compared to the things I want to talk about. So I'm going to invite anybody to ask a question at any time. If you
Right.
don't mind, we end up jumping around.
Yeah.
Rod's table, if that's okay.
Yeah.
Rod's tabletop hoop says APA baseball basic game has modifiers to reflect pitchers who get more strikeouts.
Yeah.
X comma Y. I don't know what that means. And control ratings Z comma ZZ to reflect control. It is basic but comes out pretty accurate overall.
Right.
Did you know this?
Yes. Yes. They do. The pitchers do have modifiers. Pitchers that walk a lot of guys, there'll be there's a certain modifier that'll cause them to walk more batters. Pitchers with more strikeouts, they'll get, they'll tend to get more strikeouts um, through the results of the game.
Are there any other house rules that you follow?
There might be, but offhand, I can't think of what they might be, or I don't remember what they are.
Okay. Okay. Well, getting back to the first one, play by ear.
Yeah.
Um, I can relate to that. I do what I call an advanced, enhanced with super advanced features. I do almost all the super advanced features,
Right.
and I follow the endurance. So
Yeah.
it's any combination of 3 hits or walks in an endurance inning, and he has reached fatigue.
Right. Right.
Uh, there are times when I have a pitcher in and he has not reached fatigue yet, and I call it because I aim for accuracy and fairness.
Right.
I aim for an intuitive feeling I get that it's time to pull this guy.
Hmm.
But you can game the system if you have a Tom Seaver, in the eighth, and this is his endurance inning, and he let up a whatever it is, a single, then a double, no outs. They might pull him at that point, even though he still needs another walk or a hit.
Right.
Uh, and I do it intuitively. But if you game the system, which I try to avoid,
Hmm.
you would probably not take him out, even though maybe Tug McGraw's card is
Yeah.
better, but he's a
Yeah.
left-hander. But you will take people out eventually if they get bombed or they.
Yeah. Yeah. If they start to get really hit up, I'll take
Yeah.
them, and I'll follow common sense. Seventh inning for modern day pitchers. Unless the guy is really cruising, I would probably take a starter out after 7.
Now, I got the 2021 set, uh, and I was overwhelmed by, first of all, I thought I wanted a lot of players. I thought that would be great, but it is overwhelming, 30 to 35 players on the roster. And this business of relievers where their first endurance is the first inning.
Yeah.
So I really grew very tired of playing that game. I started a replay. I played um, now just a handful of games. As far as basic, when you're playing basic, you use the outfielder's arm, and that sounds like that integrates pretty nicely
Yeah.
into the basic game.
Yeah. That's why I use it, because I figure you send the guy the extra base, um, and the arms are on the back of the card on the advanced side of the card, so just use the outfielder's arm.
Right. Baseball Demos writes 3 positives for APBA. All players carded.
Yes.
So, how large are the rosters?
They can be, you can get 35 or 40 guys on, a team, and possibly more. But yeah, they card every player that played for the team. And with Strat-O-Matic, even if you get the extended set, the extra players that they
Right.
call, you're still not going to get every single player. There are players that won't have cards in Strat-O-Matic.
But
Even
I think that comes pretty close.
it does come pretty close, yes.
That would be interesting. Demos also says they come pre-cut, and
Yeah,
they have team envelopes.
yes. That is also a nice feature.
He said the downside is in high school who were just totally into APBA.
Yeah.
What's your favorite part of Stratomatic? Your favorite aspect of the game?
I think the playability of it is the first and foremost for me. You can look at the cards and you instantly, like Stratomatic is a game where you could buy the game, not read directions, and you might have a pretty good idea of how to play the game, just the way the cards are set up and the way that the game flows. And you can play in like 25 minutes. So yeah, I mean that's the biggest thing I like about Strat.
And interestingly, I just happen to have my textbook here,
Mm-hmm.
and the it tells you can get started. Just turn the page, and the instructions for the entire game are basically on these 2 pages.
Yeah.
Any other aspect of the game that makes it your favorite?
Well, I like that um, they can have like the results are randomly distributed on the cards. Like there are some games where you'll have like anything over a certain number is going to be an out, and it's going to be an out. But that's not like that in Stratomatic. A guy can have two guys that hit 300. One of them can have a hit on 1-7, and the other guy doesn't have 1-7. It's somewhere else. And so I like how it's like randomly distributed throughout the cards.
I believe there was one year when they didn't do that. Where one year um, they put like all the hits in the one column if you had them.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah. Now even a column that is like his hit column, a batter.
right,
It seems like there'll be an out at 7, or there might be an out at 5 or something.
right,
Past
right.
that whole like from 4 to 10 was all hits. So yeah,
Um, I think you know Drew Carey. You know of him,
yeah,
a comedian.
yeah.
Do you know he plays Stratomatic?
I did not know that.
And you could probably Google, search it and do Drew Carey Stratomatic, and I watched him, and it was live, play a game against someone else, and then there was a host. They used some sort of different application to do that, and someone asked him a question. They said, "What's your favorite column
Yeah,
for hitters in Stratomatic?"
yeah.
And you know what his answer was?
No,
It depends on the hitter.
right, right.
I thought that was quick.
Yeah.
So play. Go ahead.
Well, I see somebody asked the question if I've ever been to Stratomatic opening day. And I have been to two. I went
Oh,
uh, I went to the 50th anniversary opening day, and then there was one of like 3 or 4 years later that I went to. So I've been to two of them.
that's impressive. And you're in Delaware.
Maryland.
I'm sorry, Maryland.
Yeah.
So you flew out to New York for the 50th.
Yeah.
What was that, 2011?
I don't remember the year. I just know that it was the 50th anniversary.
I'm going to try to keep my train of thought, but I want to leave to take precedence over users' questions. Frank asks, "What's your favorite Stratomatic teams, Bob?"
You know what? My favorite season is 1979. I loved the
Really?
'79 season. Um,
That's a good. By the way, that's a good question for me to ask in future
yeah,
uh, interviews. Yeah.
yeah. But as to my favorite teams, Strat-O-Matic teams, I mean, I'm a White Sox fan, so I have a natural tendency to gravitate to the White Sox. But um, other than that, I can't remember a like specific team that I liked from a specific season.
Um, 79 is your favorite season. That is about a year before you actually started playing Stratomatic.
Yeah, it's
Uh,
yeah. I'm not sure what it is about it, but I just love that season. And really, I like the '80s. The '80s, a lot of the '80s seasons,
mhm.
they were great years.
Yeah. My favorite season is 69.
Yeah, '69.
And I did a complete replay.
Hmm.
Um,
How did
here,
how did the pilots do in that season?
uh, you know, I'll tell you right now, just to show you how organized the illusion of organization. The pilots came in last. They were 59 and 103, 57 games behind the Minnesota Twins,
Hmm.
uh, one game behind the Kansas City Royals, who in real world were ahead of the White Sox, your team.
Hmm.
White Sox came in fourth. They were 61 and 101, so it was really a three-way race for the bottom third slots. I got to tell you, I don't know if you're familiar with that 69 Chi Sox team. That was not a good team.
Yeah, they've had a lot of teams over the years that weren't very good.
Um, so we have another. Let me get to this. John DFW asks, "Do you buy the Diamond Gem sets?"
I've bought one, and I think it was I want to say it was a Negro League Diamond Gems.
Yeah,
But I generally don't buy those because I have almost every season that Stratomatics ever put out,
yeah.
either the originally issued one or like one of their reissued ones where they where they incorporate the super advanced stuff. So since I have almost all their seasons in some form or another, I generally don't get the Diamond Gems because I have all those teams, somewhere in my collection.
But how aren't the Diamond Gems set up like National League and American League?
They might be. I don't know a lot about them because I've only gotten like the Negro League.
Oh,
Uh,
oh, okay. And that's a discussion that would take us up the garden path.
yeah,
As far as the Negro leagues, I would be so interested in getting that. However, I don't believe they have full leagues. In other words, if you buy a season, I'm not sure if they have the entire league. And I'm not, I think what they have is, I don't know, maybe random teams and or leagues
they
and it's
on the cards. I don't think they have a full season. They
okay.
might. I think they've started to put out like I think with this season this year. I think they've got full seasons, at least some for the computer game, but they
Oh,
don't. As
okay.
far as I know, they don't have a full season in the cards.
And since you brought it up, uh, I see that you do play the computer
Yep.
Stratomatic.
Yep.
You also play computer football.
Yes.
Well, what's your preference, card and dice or computer?
Well, I guess again that would if I do a season, I want to do the computer because the computer keeps all the stats and
Yeah.
But with the with the cards and dice, you have to keep all that. It's just very time.
I hope you don't mind. I'm refreshing my iced coffee.
Yeah.
Can you tell us about some of your projects, some of your Strat-O-Matic projects that you're doing, how you make a decision to play the kind of games you play, etc.?
All right. Well, I've started doing a season with the Superstar Baseball, um, just because I mean I like that game. It's really quick. It's easy to play. And I did like a pared down, version. Got only a team league, and all the players are superstars from the past, or very good players from the past. So
Yeah.
I wouldn't classify as superstars, but uh, so I'm starting a season of that, and yeah. Other than that, I don't have anything else going on. And as far as how I decide, just it really just kind of occurs to me, hey, this might be something good to try, with whatever seat, with whichever game engine.
Yeah.
And then I decide to do it.
Right. Um, so playability is a big factor in why you have resonated to Stratomatic.
Right.
The random location of outcomes.
Yeah.
Are there is there any other or are there any other qualities about Stratomatic, perhaps by itself or compared to other games that you consider among the reasons why you play Stratomatic mainly?
Well, those two are the two big ones. Like if you compare Strat playability to most other games, a lot of other games, it's far more. Uh, it's quicker. It's quicker to play. It's easy to learn. Uh,
Yeah,
so yeah, I think those are the two big ones. I can't think of anything else specifically. I mean, I always love getting the cards every year when they come and breaking them down, and we
yeah,
get the cards, because you know how you can look at a card of a player and say, "Wow, this is a really great card," or
sure.
yeah, or say, hey, like, and by the way, you can't do that with APA. With APA, it's just a bunch of numbers on the card. So
Unless I guess unless you have memorized a lot of what the numbers
yeah,
correspond to. Oh, he has a 14. He's got
yeah,
isn't that the case?
yes, and I've heard that. Like I've only played a few games, but I've heard that the more you play it, you get to the point where you kind of know what the result's going to be. Like you don't even have to look at the chart to see what the result is, because you know.
Yeah. Um, so that about covers the gamut
Yeah.
of the reason. Now, what do you think the downsides of Stratomatic are?
Well, I for a lot of people, one downside is that you don't get absolutely every player.
Right.
That doesn't.
That's what everybody says.
Yeah. Uh,
I've interviewed multiple people,
mhm.
and that go on.
Well, it doesn't really bother me, because if I do a replay, I'm not going to do like a by the book, game by game, look up the lineups and play the exact lineups. I'm just going to play the players that I think should play.
And you're talking computer,
Yeah. So,
not card and
well, no,
dice.
card and dice too. Card and dice.
And you've done full replays with card and dice.
I've only managed to do one, and that was when I was really young. It is
Okay.
it's very difficult, and time consuming. So, uh,
Yeah.
recently,
I think I've seen you do tournament type uh,
yeah, I did.
plays, which is very interesting.
Yeah, I did a tournament setup type thing, one year. Um,
Here's another question from Frank. And folks, pour on the questions because we're running out of time. How large is your Strat-O-Matic card collection, Bob?
Uh, for baseball, I think, every season that they've ever made in some form or another, except I think like 1974 or something.
Uh-huh.
But and that is another, like, in compared to other teams, that's another downside of Stratomatic is you can't buy any season you want because they don't have every season. But Appa does have every season. So,
Dating back to when?
hmm?
Well, dating back to when? What year?
I think the sorry.
Take your time. Because I believe the game company started in 1951.
Yeah, I think they've got back to the 1800s though.
That's unbelievable.
Yeah.
Carded.
Yeah, because they do it on I think they do it on demand. Like if you say I want the 1920 season, if they don't have any in stock, they just manufacture it and send it to you.
Right. Uh, and here's some feedback from Baseball Demos that Mismatch Monday was an interesting idea. What
Yeah.
is what is Mismatch Monday?
Mismatch Monday is when I put some really good team up against a terrible team.
Right.
Be from the same season, or they can both be from different seasons.
Right. Um, any other negatives? Not all players, not all seasons.
Right. Let's.
Anything else?
Uh, yeah. The card quality is below what a lot
Below
company.
what?
So
No, you broke up there. The card quality is what?
it's worse than a lot of other companies with their cards.
True. True.
Yeah.
But it's not so bad, is it?
Uh, I don't know. I mean, because like when I was a kid, they were die cut, and the card stock was a lot better.
When you say die cut, you mean they were unperforated.
Right. They were unperforated.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and the cards were really good quality cards.
Right.
But from what I understand, Stratomatic wanted to cut costs, and so now they do it on a flimsier card stock, and it's
Yeah.
all perforated, and you have to break them all down.
Yeah, and it's funny. This interview is about you, not me. But boy, you provoke a lot of thoughts of things that I I can relate to about that. Uh, Very quickly, just the idea that I played Stratomatic from 1970, age 12 to 74.
Hmm.
Then I got a girlfriend. I never went back to the game, but two or three times through the decades of the 80s and the 90s, I did buy the game. And the first time I bought it, I saw, I don't think in the 80s, I think it was in the 90s, I saw that you had to break them up. The cards were not unperforated. You had to break them up. And that turned me off completely, and I just didn't bother to play.
Yeah.
It was when the pandemic occurred that I went full steam into the uh, the game again.
Yeah.
Uh, Completed an entire 69 replay. Any other downsides?
Uh, Not that I can think of. I've heard people say that their customer service is terrible if you have a problem,
Right.
but I haven't had many problems over the years, so I can't really personally speak to that.
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah. Uh, there was a question. Yeah. Uh, the, you know, with customer service, I'm not sure why there's the issue of shipping and mistakes and things like that.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's what people are talking about, But as far as the card and dice game, I'm not sure any customer service is needed.
No, it shouldn't be unless they sent you like the wrong season or something.
Exactly. The computer
Yeah.
is another story. Um, Something I'm very impressed by with you is what I would call your technical proficiency. And that is, and I'm envious, you are able to broadcast games uh, with, first of all, with a computer. I think you're capturing the screen.
Yeah.
You're not you're not pointing the camera to the screen. You have actually captured the screen. Am I correct about that?
Yeah. Yeah. When I do computer games, I have a software that um, that encapsulates what's on the screen.
And you also have the feature of a window within a window. You have multiple windows.
Yeah, I can do myself talking while I'm playing a game. Yeah.
I'll be honest with you, I'm terribly envious of you for that one. The computer screen, I don't do computerized games, so I don't think that would be necessary. But is there any way you could fill me in on how you do that with the where? Because what I do is I take the camera and I just point it down on the score sheet,
Yeah.
and that works beautifully for me. But I would like to have a little window with my face on it.
Well, when I do the when I do a card and dice game, I don't have that because it's mainly with the computer games. Computer games, I've got a software called Easy Use.
What is it called?
Easy, I think it's called Easy Use.
Easy use.
Yeah,
Okay.
that will that'll like capture my screen and it allows me to also put my face. But when I do card and dice, I like you, I just do the the board and the dice and everything. But I don't have a way to do something where I can put my face in it. I don't think.
But if you could do it with with the computer, what couldn't you do it with the other?
Um, I I mean I don't know. I mean I could probably uh, I probably could, but I'd have to like play the video on
Yeah.
screen and on the easy use software,
Mm.
and then put my face in it. But I don't know. Like I really wouldn't want to do that, or I wouldn't necessarily want to do that because I'm doing the play by play when I'm playing the game, and so the only reason to have my face up in the corner would be to like do play by play for it.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, I'm already doing that while I'm playing the game. So,
Yeah. I just thought it would be kind of nice to have my face showing,
yeah, I,
but
I suppose that you might be able to do that with the easy use, but you'd have to put it into the um, software. You'd have to. Huh.
on the other hand, if I'm using do you use your smartphone when you broadcast?
Yes, when I do a card and dice game, I use my smartphone to record the game,
Right.
and then I download it to YouTube.
But when you do computerized, you use a different kind of camera.
Yeah, when I do a computer game, I do that on the computer on my like laptop,
Yeah.
and the software is it's part of the my computer software package that I've got. So
You know, I went to your uh, channel here, and I noticed that you seldom do live videos. In fact, you've only done 3 live.
yeah,
Every Everything else is a video.
right.
And for people who don't know, That's what they call videos are what you upload. So you play all your games offline.
I well, I mean, I record them.
You record them offline.
Yeah, and then I upload the video. Yeah.
Do you ever and when you can set up premieres
Yeah.
to get attention. Do you ever hang out in the games when they're being played back?
No, I generally don't know.
You don't, because there may be people making comments.
Yeah.
Do you ever look and see if there's live text comments?
Well, I look once I post a video, I will look at comments as they come in. I'm notified that I got a comment, and I read those and I respond to them. I do my best to respond to them.
Yeah. And you prefer it this way to do uh
Yeah, like live, I've tried it a few times. Kind of wears me out, and I run out of things to talk about, and also sometimes, and I don't know what to talk about next, and I, really don't. So, I mean, it just hasn't. It's just not for me. So, uh,
yeah, yeah. Uh Baseball Demos notes that I find it better when my face doesn't show. We have about 7 minutes, folks. So get your questions in. Um, what is the strangest thing, or the funniest thing, or the most unusual thing that ever happened to you in the context of playing Strat-O-Matic or just Strat-O-Matic in general?
well, I had on the channel. I had a game that I did. I think it was a replay of a playoff game between the Orioles and some other team, and
Yeah.
and Steve Stone actually pitched a no hitter in that game, and,
Okay.
and that was odd. I think that's the only time I've ever had a no hitter in Strat-O-Matic. Uh,
And you have it fully documented.
yeah, because it's on the channel.
Yeah. When I was a kid, with the 1971 set, Don Gullett threw a no hitter. So help me God.
Yes.
And I told my two best friends, and they both said, "Oh, well, you're full of it."
Yeah. Right.
But I know it's true.
Yeah.
Then in my '69 replay, Dave McNally had a no hitter, and it was completely um, uh, documented. Any other questions? Baseball Demos, Zara, Frank, John DFW, Captain T, Rod's Tabletop Hoops. Any more question? We have 39 people in here. Uh, Here's a question from Frank. How much? Excuse me. How many Strat card no hitters or perfect games have you had? And I think you just answered that.
Yeah, it just Steve Stone. I think that's the only one I've ever had.
Uh, was that when he was on the Orioles?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, it was
Okay.
one of the years that he was played for the Orioles. Yeah.
I think he also played for the Cubs, didn't he?
He did play for the Cubs. He played for San Francisco for a little bit. I think he came up with San Francisco.
Yeah.
Um, and he played for the White Sox too.
Here's a very good question from Baseball Demos. If Bob is getting the 2024 Strat set, will he be doing a White Sox project with that wonderful team?
I am going to try to do some type of a project with them. Yes, I'm definitely going to do, game at least games between them and someone else. Maybe them and somebody suggested I play them against the '62 Mets, so I will definitely be doing that. Um,
Maybe a 7 game series.
yeah, that would actually, yes, that would be a great idea.
Uh, And how did you feel about this past year? They lucked out and they beat the Mets by percentage. Is that it?
I think they beat the Mets by percentage, but they had more losses.
Right. And people. So a lot of people don't know this. That's because the Mets played only 160 games.
Right.
They were 40 and 120, so they had more losses, but a better percentage. Um, Look forward to that. And I like the season, and I might get it, even though I have trouble with the 2021, just not liking it.
Yeah.
Here's Razor. Are there any teams in any sport you root for? Well, the answer is, and I can answer that one. He is a avid White Sox fan.
Yeah. And in football, the Bears, and in hockey, the Islanders.
That's interesting. Not the Blackhawks.
No, not the Blackhawks. No.
And how is it that you resonated to the Chicago White Sox? Because I don't believe you ever lived in Illinois, did
No,
you?
I never did. But when I was young, I was brought up in New York, but I hated the Yankees and the Mets. So I just kind of gravitated to, yeah,
you you hated both of them.
yeah. I mean, they were on TV all the time. Everybody talked about them. I was sick of them. I just really,
That's funny. That's funny. But what? How did you get to the White Sox?
that was just the team. I don't know. I don't remember why I chose to be a White Sox fan, but
Yeah,
I that I just ended up liking.
yeah. And I guess you remember very well the Harold Baines, I believe.
Yeah, Harold Baines. He was a really good player.
And I believe the basketball player who made the majors. Didn't he play on the White Sox?
Uh,
Uh,
he was on the Blue Jays. Danny Ainge is who you're talking.
no, no. Ainge was a real legitimate basketball player, and no, the MJ, Michael Jordan.
Oh, Michael Jordan. I don't think he ever made the majors. He was in their minor league system.
Okay, are you sure? Because I think he did come up uh, for a short stint, but I could be wrong about that.
Yeah, I don't remember him ever coming up and playing on the White Sox team.
We are at 1 hour. Uh, and I think that will cover it. I don't see any more questions. Uh, just to close it up, then I have a closing remark. Is there anything I didn't ask you that you think people might find of interest regarding Strat-O-Matic?
Uh, now I think we've covered all the bases with Strat-O-Matic. I can't think of anything else that I can say about it except that it is my favorite game for sure.
Yeah. And Baseball Demo says, awesome job, guys. Frank says, thanks, Jeffrey and Bob, for a great interview. Really appreciate it. Keep rolling on, Bob. Uh, I've asked you a lot of questions. Do you have any questions of me?
Uh, no, none that I can think of. I mean, I know that because you've talked extensively about things from your past in certain videos that you put up. So, um, and Stratomatic was the one that you played when you were a kid, right?
Yes.
And it was only Stratomatic.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, and so that's obviously why you're playing it now is because you loved it from when you were a kid.
Yeah. There's no other game that I would even think. Oh, here's a question. I hope we're going over. I don't know if you have a few more minutes.
Yeah, yeah, I'm fine. I'm fine.
Uh, Beatles or Rolling Stones? This
I
is
I'd go Beatles, I guess.
Yeah, this is from demos. Yeah, I have one along those lines. Uh, Briefs or jockey shorts?
I'd go Briefs.
You go briefs.
Yeah.
Okay. 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 God, Razor says, "Thank you, Jeff. God bless you." You know, they asked Bill Clinton that at the one of the town halls when he was running.
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah, and he, you know, he answered it. I wasn't a big Bill Clinton fan, but I did think he did a good job. But God bless you, Z, in your recovery
Yeah.
from Razor. I want to
Thank,
thank you, and thanks for being so candid. I wish you the best. My thoughts are with you,
thank you. I appreciate it.
and we've kept you long enough. And it looks like people enjoyed the interview. You take care now.
Yeah, you too.
Okay.
Thanks for the interview.
Thank you, sir, for doing it.
Bye.
Take care. Well, that just about does it. It was Sportsman Z. Boy, I learned a lot. And my thoughts are with Sportsman in his recovery. And I'm going to continue in following his network. Stay strong, everybody. Stay well. And if you want to be interviewed by me, please write a request, reply to the comments section here. Not in the live text, but in the comment, in the reply area. It's easier for me to see. Uh, I want to continue collecting interviews. Someone I'd like to do is Dave Little. If you're listening, Dave Little. I'd like to do many others. I'd like to do all of you. And even if you don't broadcast games, if you play Strat-O-Matic, I could walk you through how to do it. And we'll go from there.